Yeah, okay then. Well, I'll Get Down and Get With It started is like because it was going down so well at concerts, well, at gigs basically. How that started is when we used to play the pubs like the Connaught Hotel, the Park Hall, and the Shipping Rainbow in Wolverhampton. It was actually Carol Williams' boyfriend then, who was the disc jockey, and he always used to finish his night, finish the night with it, Get Down and Get With It. We thought, that'd be a good one to learn, you know, for the same thing, for us to finish our show with it. And it never failed. We couldn't put it anywhere else in the set, you know, because you know you
can't follow it.
No, exactly. It had to be the last number, and that's when Chas said, you know, that we've got to record that. You know, I mean, the actual single recording of it is quite tame to what how it went on stage, you know, and how it was on Slade Alive, but it worked for us. But I'll tell you what, then Ian and Chris, in those days you had to be in the top 30 to get on Top of the Pops, and I think it went up to 32. You know, and we thought it was quite a big jump into 32. And we thought, great, next week we'll be on. It was number 32 again the following week. I we thought, oh no, we're going to lose it, yeah, because you had to be in the top 30 then. And then the following week it was 29, so we were on, and that was it. Then it went up to like number, was it 16, I think, in the actual BBC charts. It was number 16, but it did the job. You know, it worked great for us. You know, that was it. That was the launch basically.
Were you aware of any of the legal things? You know, the Little Richard, because originally it was credited to Little Richard. And
yeah, I don't know how we got away with that, Chris, because it was like Richard Penniman, right, was his name, his writing name, and we put our names on it.
Yeah, but it wasn't even. But it wasn't even him, was it? It was Bobby Marchant.
That's it, yeah. So I don't think we've got anything for it. I think at a later date, Chris, it was changed to Bobby Marchant.
It was, and the title was changed as well. It was Get Down With It.
Yeah.
That was what, you know. So
yeah, I know, that's right. Well, we always announced it, Get Down and Get With It, but like you said, it was Get Down, Get With It.
Yeah.
One thing that strikes me though, when you listen to your version after hearing the original, is that you had totally revamped the song. You'd made it into something else. The way that Little Richard sang it was different.
Sorry, what?
Little Richard did it almost with a different lyric.
Yeah, I think it did. I think it just changed it around as it went on. You know, so as we went on, the amount of times we played it, Ian. So it basically became our own after a while, you know. Yeah. But we never got away with the writing thing, like we put our names to the writing credits. But I think it came down on us like a ton of bricks. So we couldn't do anything else. I mean, we were just trying it, you know. But anyway, but yeah. But that was it. That was what we needed. I mean, because like the ones before, like While Winds Are Blowing and things like that, you know, was. Yeah, that wasn't us anyway. Actually, if I remember right, it was the While Winds Are Blowing was written by the two guys from Honeybus. Do you remember them? They had a couple of sort of hits like Can't Let Maggie Go, and I think they wrote a few songs that became quite successful. And but I mean, it wasn't really just that particular song anyway, you know. But and that's when Chas said, you know, about the few times he saw us at live shows. He said, that's got to be a single. We've got to record that, you know. And it did start it.
Yeah, well, I mean, what is it? 50 odd years now. Some 71, yeah, 50 years next year, isn't it?
Amazing. It's incredible, and I still remember.
Almost as old as me.
Sorry.
Almost as old as me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, just to give you a gold record. But I mean, the thing was, that was like talk about nail biting time when it was 32 for 2 weeks. You know, we thought, oh no, we thought that's it. It's not going to go anymore, because then that's what it was. It was a bit too rowdy for the BBC at that time, when it was the Jimmy Young show, Jimmy Savile, people like that. They really wouldn't play it. You know, they were forced to play it when it got into the top 30. They had to play it. But the only time it really got played, because in those days we used to do a lot of live radio shows, and that was the only way it was played. Really, it was us playing it during like the live radio shows, because there was the Radio 1 clubs then and things like that. Because then you used to go into the BBC and record 5 tracks for one a day, sort of thing, for the 5 days, like Monday to Friday, and that was the only way we really got it played. And it wasn't until it went into the top 30 that it didn't really get that much play anyway, you know, because it wasn't really radio material, really, you know. So, but they had to play it because it was in the top 30.
You got your foot in the door with that one, though, didn't you?
That was the thing, Chris. That was the thing. You know, we thought then, you know, that's it now, and that's when Chas said after that, now you got to write your own stuff.
Yeah.
Just before we move on from this single, it was the first maxi EP on Polydor.
That's right. Well, that was another ploy by Chas to try and do a bit of promotion thing, to try and get people to buy it, to give them the extra, like you got here, you sort of like, you know, sort of gospel according to Rasputin and Do You Want Me? It was like the old days with those when they used to have the EPs.
Yeah.
But that was a ploy to try and, you know, to get people. Oh God, yeah, there's 3 tracks on this, and it was like an advertising thing. You know, there was a reason behind it. You know, to try and give people a bit of a bonus thing, and I suppose in a way it did work, really. You know, the idea was to sort of, oh yeah, there's 3 tracks on this, now we'll go and get that, and it was, I suppose you could say it was value for money if you want.
Yeah, and the 3 good tracks as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, going years into the future, Dave would resurrect Do You Want Me, didn't he? Because he part wrote it.
Yeah, he part that wrote, yeah.
And it's just such a good song. It's just such a good recording.
Yeah. Well, I mean, sort of, it was a good time, that was, actually, for recording. It was a good time, you know, because we felt we were getting our foot in the door, and there was a lot of enthusiasm there. You know, because we thought we're on the cusp now of getting in there. And like, of course, when Not and Jim came up with "Coz I Love You," that was it. You know, except that, yeah, we were a bit unsure about putting it out, a bit like the Christmas record, and that's when we started. That's how we started doing the hand clapping and stamping to try and heavy it up a bit. You know, that was the idea there. And you know, we never, in those days, we never played it live. We never did it live. It never worked. You know, it never worked live. You know, so it's funny that we never played it live. It wasn't until with Dave and myself when we started doing it. You know, but
did you like it? Did you like it as a single?
I felt a lot better with it when we put the hand clapping and stamping on it.
Yeah,
you know, because in those days we were trying to be hip and all that kind of thing. You know, that, you know, sort of thing. And of course, when we came up with this, it was, oh bloody hell. You know, that's why we put. I mean, it's a great recording, but that's why we put the hand clapping and stamping on to try and heavy it up a bit.
Yeah,
you know, but yeah. There you go.
Well, you'd gone to Top of the Pops as well with that halfway through the recording of Slade Alive, didn't you?
That's right, yeah.
Which sort of then leads on to the Slade Alive thing.
But it was great, that was. I mean, because I'm going on to Slade Alive now. Do you want to go on to Slade?
We might. It's a natural thing, isn't it? I mean,
yeah.
Because I Love You.
I seem to remember we actually did Top of the Pops on one of the nights we did Slade Alive.
Yeah.
We did Slade Alive over 3 nights.
Yeah.
You know, what is it? Come on, what you got? theatre. Only held a couple hundred people, but it was meant for live recording. It was set up for live recording. There was a proper studio, and it was set up for live recording.
Whose idea was it to bring out a live album?
Chaz's.
Because you'd only had Play It Loud and Beginnings.
Yeah, well, that wasn't us really. I mean, we hadn't really found ourselves. Me and Jim were writing some. Me and Jim basically wrote that album, I think. But it wasn't the direction we were in really. I don't know where we were at. You know, we hadn't really got it together writing wise. You know, but
it was a brave decision to do a live album when basically nobody really knew you. You'd had Get Down and Get With It in the charts.
Well,
and all of a sudden you're doing this live album.
Well, we were going down so well at concerts, but that's when Chaz said, you know, when I say concerts, it was gigs. It wasn't really concerts. It was just gigs, and that's when Chaz said, I think a live album's the way to go to try and get our foot in the door. And that's what he did. Like this Come On Studios, like I said, it was a small theatre in Piccadilly that was set up for recording. And we did the plan was to do 3 nights there, and just pick bits out of each of the nights to make the album. But the album is actually the second night. It is all the second night.
Yeah, which was the night you'd been in the Top of the Pops studio on the Wednesday.
Yeah.
Because you recorded Top of the Pops the day before he was broadcast.
We used to do Top of the Pops on the Wednesday, but you shot on Thursday.
Yeah.
And
that was the second night.
Yeah. And that was it. You know, I suppose we were on such a high, but I remember going to listen each night after the recordings of Slade Alive. We listened to it, and it was coming together really good. You know, we were so surprised how good it was, that particular studio. I don't know if it's still there, but it was set up. It was like it's only held a couple hundred people, but it was perfect for live recordings. It was all set up, you know. So it worked great. As I said, the whole idea was to pick the best bits out of the 3 nights and put them together. But the actual Slade Alive is the second night.
My birthday.
What was that?
My birthday.
I can't hear you.
Birthday.
My birthday.
Oh, nice one. Nice
Coincidence.
One. Yeah, but you don't know these things.
What were the audiences? I was just going, you know, the 3 nights.
Yeah.
But the audiences, were they good audiences?
Yeah, I think it was pretty well full, but it's only like a couple hundred people, you know. But it was very enthusiastic because, like, we got them going before we actually started recording. You know, we just went up and, you know, was talking to them and whatever, that kind of thing, you know, and getting the mood right, sort of thing. You know, but
Richard Cox came down with his Derby off, didn't he, the one night?
Yeah, that's it. There's and Richard was there. But, one of the old stalwarts, old Richard, good bloke. Yeah. You know, he was behind us way before that when we played at Derby. You know, he always wrote really good reviews. Yeah, it was great. He was great to us. He, like I said, that's why we invited him to the Slade Alive, because he was such a.
Yeah, in his review, he mentions that you played Coz I Love You.
Yeah, I saw that, and I don't remember playing it. That's right, Chris, you reminded me. Yeah, and I don't remember that. Yeah, I really don't remember that.
Enough.
Yeah, but what I can't understand is because it was because it was. I don't know if it's number 1 then. Was it number 1 then?
No, it hasn't made it to number 1 yet.
Sorry,
no, you were just going on to just ended the charts. You were just going into Top of the Pops to record it. It was a few weeks before we got to number 1.
You went in at 26.
Yeah.
Because of you went, and then you jumped to 12, and then from 12 to 1, you took like 3 weeks to get to number 1. Yeah. It was 26, 12, then number 1. It was fantastic. But exciting times that.
Because we were going to ask about other tracks that are missing. Because is it the set of 6, Ian?
Sorry?
Nodham announces coming home.
Oh, actually, I don't know what happened about that one. I'm sure we did that.
Because the television thing, I'm sure some expert will get in touch with us and tell us we're talking rubbish. But you did a television thing. I'll say it's a set of 6 anyway.
We played coming
this
on.
Is an announcement that's coming from your forthcoming album.
Oh, okay. So we must have done it then, because it was
You must
part
have
of
done
that
it,
stage show. It used to be, well, In Like a Shot was always the second number, so it was possibly the third. It was early on when we did it. So I wonder why it wasn't included. That's interesting, that, Chris. Maybe we can find out. I wonder why. Yeah, because it was a great stage song.
One of the things you notice about Slade Alive when you look at it is that it's a very cover-heavy album, really. I mean, you weren't to that point where you were writing lots of songs yourselves then, so it's a cover-heavy album.
Yeah, well, it's that was our stage show at the time. I mean, like I said, that was it. That was a stage show. Yeah,
but it's also there's 7 tracks on there, and 3 of them are your tracks, Slade tracks, and you get writing credits again.
Yeah.
For all of them.
For In Like a Shot, I did the lyrics for, and me and Nod did the
lyrics. You are, and
I did the lyrics to that, because what that was, I don't want to talk about this before, because that was Genesis of the Beginnings album.
That's right, yeah.
And that's when Chas said, you should write lyrics to that. So I actually did the lyrics for To Know Who You Are, because we took all the sound effects off it, all the stuff, and just put I wrote the lyrics to Know Who You Are.
There's an argument that the first few albums were basically you with a backing band, whether they were solo albums, they were all done. They were Don Powell albums, weren't they?
Well, I never heard that one before.
Well, I'm just making it up. Play it, but play it loud. 8 of the 12 tracks were yours. On this one, 3 of the 7 tracks, Don Powell writing credits. Fantastic.
I know, really good.
I don't think you get the credit for that in the early days.
No, I don't think so. But basically, I think if I remember right, me and Jim basically wrote "Play It Loud."
You did. Yeah. You wrote 8 of the 12 tracks. Your tracks. Yeah. Which is madness. I know later on it was Jim and Nod. But in the early days, I don't think you get the credit for it.
Right, Nod and H, but they never really came up with something. They only did a few things. Well, they said like, "Do you want me?" Sort of thing. That was definitely a Nod and H collaboration. Yeah. That was, but it's probably more Nod than H, because I know H gets bored and he walks off. he leaves the room. He's got his retention span is nil. It really is. I'll tell you the one time. I'm going to tell you this story. I think it was I don't know what the particular track was, but when we were recording up Portland, and we always had the lights down in the studio. And and he was doing a guitar before. I can't remember what it was. It was way back. And anyway, got the lights down, and he was like, it was early evening, or whatever. Anyway, we started playing it. All of a sudden, it went quiet. I was going, H, because we couldn't go like H, and he'd gone. He just took his guitar off and left. He wanted to get the train back to Wolverhampton. He just walked out of the studio. And we couldn't stop laughing. He just took his guitar and put it down and left. And he's supposed to be doing the guitar part. His concentration span is nil.
So did Jim take over?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it was on. He did most of it. To tell you the truth, a lot of the recordings was just me and Jim. I mean, Nod was there, but Nod would better do a guide vocal, because we always liked it better for a feel thing. That instead of just playing just a backing track, it gets very sort of, what's the word, sort of. Not boring, but you know what I mean. There's no particular life in it. But when God does a vocal track, it's like as if we're playing live. He never played guitar while he did that. He was just doing the thing and I think he actually stopped playing guitar after that. Jim did all the guitar. It was better on a lot of the stuff. It was just me and Jim. you know, and you know, sort of Jim would play everything, and I'd do the drums, you know, and then do percussion as and when sort of thing. But no, it was weird. And then Nod would come in and maybe do a vocal either the next day, you know, sort of thing, you know. But a lot of the stuff it just.
It's Devil taking the internet down.
Yes.
Oh, that's it. You're back again now.
Yes,
Yeah.
you had a glitch for a second.
We thought H had nicked the just walked off the internet with it.
What's that? Sorry.
We thought H had just walked off with the internet. You know, so he got more.
Yeah, it was incredible. It was just amazing when, you know, especially that time when he's putting it on, and he just left. I thought, H, where are you? The light up, he's gone.
Right.
Try again.
So, let's get back to Slade Alive.
Yeah.
Ian?
I was just, we'd put some questions out through the forum. And one of the questions is, do you remember much about the 3 nights? Obviously you do. You're coming out with that. Do you have any personal favourite songs from those evenings?
I think Born to Be Wild always come out as a cracker. I say we didn't like a shot. Well, a lot of the up-tempo stuff, like Know Who You Are, stuff like that. I mean, Darling Beyond Soon was always a favourite anyway on stage in the live set, you know. But the up-tempo stuff was. But it's funny because I think what helped a lot, Ian, is we just went in with. We just went in and played. We weren't thinking about it. It's like as if we were playing live. We tried to sort of put it out of our minds that we were recording doing a live album, you know. And yeah, it was a. And I tell you what, though, it's amazing how out of all the albums, that's the one that people all over the world, no matter what, that's the one that people remember.
It's got everything. I mean, the cover is an iconic cover.
Well, that photograph, you opened the sleeve out, that was from the Marquee.
Yeah.
That's from the Marquee Club, that was.
And that drawing inside.
Yeah, that was a competition, Chris.
Yeah, it was in the Sun, wasn't it?
Sorry?
It was a competition in the Sun.
Yeah, is that what it was, in the Sun?
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it was a competition, and I can't remember what the prize was, to tell the truth now.
It wouldn't have been much if it was you lot, would it?
No, it wouldn't. You probably had to
drink
pay
from Devil.
But now you've gone. Well, you haven't gone. You're frozen again.
Bit more editing required here.
Oh, you're back again.
Yeah.
Okay. I think you've probably got a free album.
Yeah. A handshake.
But no, but that it worked perfect. That. And what was great, I think it must have been Chaz's to have all the comments,
quotes
from different
because you had your To Hell with America, didn't you?
They took that out when they released it in America.
Yes. Yeah.
They took that out. But,
yeah.
Yeah,
but,
one of the fans asked if that comment came to bite you on the backside when the album was released in America, but if it was taken off, then that explains.
It was taken off. It was taken off for that very reason. Yeah, as you can imagine. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was just a really good. And just a quick question: Darling, Be Home Soon.
Yeah.
Nod belching.
Yeah.
When.
That was.
You couldn't make it up, could you?
That was just that was off the cuff.
Yeah.
It was off the cuff. That was. He just did it. You know. It was.
But was he was expected to do it every other time, though, wasn't he?
He was, after the album came out. He had to do it every bleeding night. That's all people wanted to hear. You know.
Bonkers and
yeah. I think that was the English audience. Typically, that's all they wanted to hear was the belch. You know. But yeah. Was
that a thing he did first when you were recording the album? It happened then, or had he done it before that? I can't remember actually now, Ian, to tell you the truth. But I think it was. I think it might have been the first time actually, Ian, and he just did it, you know. And I think they were on about taking it off for America, but they never did, because they wouldn't have got it at all, you know. But yeah. But it's funny though, it's the album. I mean, like I say, our first Australian tour, I got the gold record, a triple gold award for Slade Alive. It was the biggest thing there since Sgt. Pepper.
You know, it's unbelievable. It just because I remember, because on that tour was us, Quo, Lindisfarne and Caravan, and we had like the tour bus we were travelling on, and that album was on all the time. And like, then you hear Quo, and he's like, oh no, not you lot again, for Christ's sake. It was, honestly, it was on all the time. It was the biggest, like I said, it was the biggest thing there since Sergeant Pepper. Just unbelievable.
It's just a fantastic album. It really
It's
is.
great. I mean, you never think yourself when you hear it back, you know, you think, oh yeah, you always think you can do better things or whatever, you know, but it is an exciting album. It did what we wanted to do, you know, it actually worked. And as I said, the idea was to do the 3 nights and pick the best bits out of the 3 nights, but it worked out that it was the second night. You know, but it just, we were on a roll then, Chris, and it just went. It was just unbelievable. I mean, sort of, it was like it went to #1 about 3 times, I think. It was always in the top 3 for months, and then it had come back, go down again, then to come back up. If we went on a tour, it had got back up again, you know, and it was just phenomenal the way it went. Really fun. Like I said, of all the albums throughout our career, that's the one people always mention. It's the only one that people ever mention, Slade Alive.
I've read that the band did a mix of the album that Chaz rejected, and then there was another mix, and then he ended up coming back to yours.
I don't remember that, Ian.
Right.
I stand corrected on that, but I don't remember that because in those days when Chaz, we hadn't long been with Chaz, I suppose, by then, and he was the boss in the studio, and I can't imagine that he would let us mix it, let us do a mix of it. I'll stand corrected on that, but I don't, in those days, he wouldn't have let us do a mix.
Right.
We'll have to get Jim on.
Sorry?
We'll have to get Jim on here.
Yeah.
Tell him.
Yeah.
Is he still alive? I only speak to him through Frank, you know, because Jim ain't on email, he ain't got a mobile, and yeah, whatever sort of thing. But yeah,
he's got an auction coming up on Monday.
Oh, that's right. I think who told me? It might have been you who told me, Chris.
No, it's probably Dave Kemp.
Oh, possibly. Oh, yes. But an auction of what?
Clothes.
His red suit.
Well, that's all he's got, isn't it? That's all.
He's got a yellow suit as well.
He's got lots of things.
Oh, so I don't know. I'll tell you what, if he was going somewhere, he always called me up, can I borrow your suit? Have you got a suit I can borrow? If he was going to, I don't know, a reception or whatever it was, or a wedding, Don, have you got a suit I can borrow? Oh, unbelievable.
So we'll get him on and we'll talk about that as well, Ian. We'll get Jim on as well.
Yeah, I mentioned about borrowing Don's suits.
Oh, we will do, yes. That's the challenge.
Yeah, that would be good, that will. That'd be good, that will. And then after that, there was like, well, I'm just going by the list here, guys, because you got 1972, Look What You Done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was like, I wrote that. You know, how the Slade 2 and the version we were doing then, or the arrangement we did then with that, that's how I particularly wrote it. I don't know how it came about. It's a boom, tap, boom, tap, boom. I don't know how that came about. I don't know whose idea that was. It wasn't mine, because when we started playing together, how we played it was how I originally wrote it. I just don't know where it came about from, guys. Where did that boom, tap, but yeah,
I think it's another great song. I know it's only got to #2.
Yeah, I only got up.
Yeah, that's all.
Right. Oh, but I better retire then. But, yeah. I mean, it's a great recording as well, actually.
The Slade recordings were always loud. I mean, I don't know any of the technical stuff.
I'll tell you how that came about is when Chas cut the record, and when you go from from the when we do the mix, and he got the tape of the mix, and then you go to the cutting room where he always went to Apple, the Beatles place, right?
Yeah.
And the cutting engineer there was a guy named George Peckham.
Yeah.
And he played with a later sort of formation of the Foremost, another Liverpool band. He was from Liverpool himself, George was, and it was great. It was great in the cutting room, because he always see when you go from tape to plastic, you got to be careful how loud you do it, because if you do just that little notch too loud, then the record jumps.
Yeah.
You know, so you got to be really. He had it just on the cusp. He just had it on, you know. But he always did great jobs. It was always great. And when Chaz got Portland, and he got the cutting room, and he got Porky Peckham in there as well to do it, because the Apple had folded around that time, and so we got George to come and work in the cutting room with Portland. But it was great for doing that. And that, I'll tell you what, a lot of people don't realise that how important that is to transfer from the mix, the tape, to plastic. People don't realise it's another process. It's another process, guys. You know, sort of you can make it brighter. You know, sort of things like that. And you can sort of bring things out. And like I said, then with the volume, you know, but you have to be it's just on the edge before the record will start jumping. You know, if it's too loud, sort of thing. But George, Porky Peckham, George was great like that.
No, the Slade records are just loud.
Yeah, you know. But that was because of Porky, George. You know, but yeah, and he knew what he was doing. He was great. I'd like to see him again, actually, because obviously when Portland folded, I don't know what happened to him. You know, so
we'll have to find him.
Yeah, try and find out. Like to see him again, Chris, if you can find out whether he went to another studio. I really don't know. I've got no idea of who to approach to find out where he could be. You know, but if you could maybe find out, it'd be great to see him.
We can do these things.
We'll have a go.
Look what you've done. Yeah, that was 72, right? Yes.
Yep.
And then I'm going to onto the list here when we did Coventry Locarno. Yeah, I mean that was incredible. That was. I mean, it was like they used to do it a lot in those days, where the universities, wherever around the country, would have like the end of term ball, you know, and that always great because they always have so many bands on, because the university have so many different halls, so there'll be 3 bands on in one hall, you know, when one band finished in one hall, another one will start up, you know, and it was always a great night. And that's what this was. It was actually done a Coventry Locarno. And I mean, you think of the bill there, you know, I mean, there was a group of do you remember, I don't know if you ever heard of a band called the Roy Young Band?
I've heard of them.
Yeah, they were like seasoned musicians from way back when, from the London scene, like the Georgie Fames, the Zoot Moneys, all people from around that type of thing, around that era, that scene. And that's the Roy Young Band. He was the keyboard player, the piano player, Roy Young, and they should back a lot of people like the back Chuck Berry. I'll tell you about that in a minute. And that sort of thing, because we opened the show. I mean, yeah, we you know, sort of, we opened the show, and we only did about, I don't know, probably about 30 minutes. Then the Roy Young band came on and did a set, and then Chuck Berry came on to do his set. But I mean, I'll tell you what, Don, because you talk about a guy who's been through the mill. He hadn't even rehearsed with the band, Roy Young Band. He never does. He just turns up with his guitar guys. And he says, you obviously know all my songs, which everybody did. He said, when I stamp my foot, that's when we start. And when I do that, we stop. And that's what he did. I remember the guys at the band saying, the drummer saying, he said he was on like tenterhooks all the time, not knowing what he was going to do. And he never rehearsed because of I mean, I think that night we got about 50 quid, I think. But that was about our average fee then. And he got £1,000, which was like phenomenal, you know, grand to himself. He never paid the band. It was up to the promoter to pay his backing band. Nothing to do with him. And what he did, like I said, he didn't really do a sound check. Like he said, you all know my songs. When I stamp my foot, we'll start, and when I lift my hand, we'll stop. Anyway, and then he says, it was the social secretary from university. He said, who pays me? So I do. And Chuck Berry just walked in the dressing room and locked himself in the toilet in the dressing room. And he says, I don't come out until you push my money under the door. You want the cash. And he says, when you push my money in the door, then I'll do the show. And he goes on stage with his money in his money belt on his thing. But you can imagine how he's been ripped off in the past. You know, I mean, I really admire him. But anyway, it was a great night. I mean, of all the incredible songs he's written, when you think about it, you know, sort of Roll Over Beethoven, and he gets a bloody hit with Ding-a-ling, you know. But I remember when on the night, it was just like, he was just phenomenal, you know.
The My Ding-a-ling thing is, we're hoping. Well, I asked you this before. You didn't sing on it. H and Jim didn't sing on it. So we're hoping that Nod was in the audience.
Well, we were all in the audience, Chris, and I can't remember taking. We might have been shouting. I don't remember.
If you did that, we're having that as your 7th number one.
Well, like you mentioned that before, that's quite a good point, that is, Chris.
Yes.
It'd be a good thing for the press, that will. Yes. I mean, we probably did, because I remember watching his show, like I said, he hardly played as well. He just like, he'd be sort of doing that, you know, for the crowd, and he'd be dancing, doing his walk, you know, the little duck walk that he always did. And it was just like, like somebody taking him off, if you know what I mean. It's like somebody, like a character. But I mean, it's just the man in it. I mean, just phenomenal. And when you think about it, then when that show finished, there was a break for about, I don't know, an hour or so, and then Pink Floyd stuff was already set up. Now I was checking just checking records, because I thought they did Dark Side of the Moon, but the Dark Side of the Moon wasn't released till the year later.
They were playing songs from it at that time.
Were they? I wouldn't. I seem to. The album at the time it was Atom Heart Mother.
Mm.
Yeah, because I've done the research. I thought, oh, well, because I thought it was Dark Side of the Moon. Because I remember I've never heard anything like it. Because you don't see them on stage.
Mm.
It's all in darkness, all these effects, and they've got speakers all around the room, which I'd never seen before. And there's these footsteps. I mean, it's phenomenal, really. They're going all around the room. It's like somebody walking around the room.